Alrighty guys, best Barbarian build for Diablo 3 Season 27. So it's going to be a Hammer of the Ancients Barbarian. We actually have two different builds here, and you can mix and match kind of what you want in terms of making the best Barbarian. It is an LOD build, just as a heads up, so it will take some time to kind of gear up. You also want massive amounts of cooldown reduction, as you will want to keep up Call of the Ancients and Wrath of the Berserker up 100% of the time. So with Season 27, what are the Sanctified Angelic Legendary powers that you're looking for? So keep in mind you can roll this on any piece of your gear, but we're really looking for two in particular. We have the secondary here in the orange text. Whirlwind pulls in and holds all enemies within 25 yards. So what that allows you to do is just suck up everything up on the screen, and you could keep on pulling them. There's no like diminishing returns normally like you would have with certain other things in Diablo. This thing is just fantastic. Just sucks up everything, and then you're going to hit them with the Hammer of the Ancients once there's a lot of density. When you group up a bunch of enemies, then you lay down your payload with the Hammer of the Ancients, dealing massive amounts of damage. Now there is another Sanctified power that you can play as well, which is the Hammer of the Ancients hits in all directions around the Barbarian, and every 10th cast of Hammer of the Ancients unleashes a powerful shockwave. This technically is more damage, however, because of the way area damage works, you can play either one. Either one is definitely going to be competitive on the leaderboard, as of right now, both builds are in the top spot. So it's kind of up to you on what you kind of prefer. If you're wondering like what you guys are seeing right now, you'll have both of the gameplay, but I like the one that pulls in everything. It lets you actually be a little bit more squishy and actually survive a little bit more, plus it's way more fun to play in my opinion, although visually the shockwave is definitely cool as well. But it's kind of up to you on what you want to play. But in terms of like the playstyle and how you are going to be using your skills, this is the rundown. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be using Whirlwind to just basically go through and hit them, because you want to activate your Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac so you can actually keep up your abilities. Once you feel like the density is good enough, or you're in the right rotation of your convention of elements, you're going to be hitting your enemies with Hammer of the Ancients. We're running the Fire Rune in our case. That's the important part, because that's how we're scaling our damage. That's going to be done on our chest piece as well as in the bracer, so we want that elemental damage. So we're going to be running the Fire Rune for that reason. Also, this gives us extra resource cost reduction with Cinder Coat. And then Call of the Ancients together as one, so we have damage reduction, plus we get a bonus of a rune called Ancient's Fury, and that's going to make it so we're going to have basically infinite fury, so we don't even need to really manage that at all. Wrath of Berserker, keep it up 100% of the time. It doesn't matter what rune you select, because we have Mortix Brace inside of the Kanai's Cube to give us the ability to make it so it's going to have all of the runes. So keep these up at all times you need to, and if you don't, the Stone Gauntlets will actually have a very bad negative effect on you, which slows you down and you'll instantly pop. And then next up we have Battle Rage with Bloodshed. This makes it so when you deal damage, your crit damage is going to be dealing 20% of the recent crit damage, and it can just melt content. It's really, really good. And then we have Ground Stomp, Wrenching Smash, or you can run, if you want to, you can run Leap, Iron Impact. You just need some sort of ability to activate your Band of the Might. You can run Furious Charge if you want. Pick the rune that you enjoy the most and you feel like feels the best for you. All of them are technically on the leaderboard, so it doesn't matter. Choose the one that you want. What Band of Might does is when you activate this, you're going to take up to 80% reduced damage for 8 seconds. So every 8 seconds, you need to activate one of these, because it really will keep you surviving in the higher GRs. So that's it for the like skills. In terms of what we're running inside of the passives here, we got Realist, just more damage. We've got Rampage, more damage. Well, it's more strength, which technically is survivability as well. Then we got Berserker Rage for extra damage when you're near maximum fury, and we're pretty much at maximum fury the whole time. And then we have Boon of Bolcathos for more cooldown, so we can keep up our Wrath of Berserker as well as our Call of the Ancients, and we need to do that for our legendary powers. So in terms of other things that you can play, if you want to, I've seen people play Brawler. This gives you increased damage when there is at least 3 enemies. However, for Rift Guardians, you definitely would prefer the Ruthless, but if you're just looking to maybe do speeds and you just want to, you know, get extra like damage, this could be okay as well if you're just doing like speeds, but more than likely you can swap this one in and out here. Then we're running the Gavel of Judgment, and this is going to make it so damage of Hammer of the Ancients is increased by 800%, and it also does return some fury, but it's not really that big of a deal, just more damage. And then we're running Mortix Brace. This makes it so Wrath of Berserker gains all of the runes. You can run Braces of the First Men and swap Mortix Brace in and out. Doesn't really matter. Whichever one has like the better rolls, get that one, remember it. And then we have Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac inside of the Kanai's Cube, because we need massive amounts of cooldown reduction. In fact, That's one of the most important things that you want on every single piece of gear, because stone gauntlets will have like a negative effect if you don't have that Wrath of the Berserker up. So you can actually play around with the boots here. So I've seen lots of different variations. Ice Climbers is great for that immunity to freeze and immobilize. But if you really want to min-max, as long as you can keep this up the whole time, hey, you can run Iron Tome Mud Sputters if that is more of your choice, because Stone Gauntlets does have like a negative effect over here. So Ice Climbers are a great choice as well. It's kind of up to you. I've also seen people talk about Illusory Boots, but Whirlwind technically ignores unit collision anyways, but feel free to do what you want to do with that. In terms of our weapons, we're running Echoing Fury, so that's going to give us more attack speed once we eliminate an enemy, and then also Remorseless. As long as we have Wrath of Berserker and Call of the Ancients, both of them up, we're just going to be able to deal more damage. Now for our pants, we're going to be running Black Thorns. Yes, Black Thorns. The reason why is you no longer need to get a Witch Doctor to get like the pants to actually get elemental damage. You can just get Black Thorns. So we're just really looking for the main normal stuff in Diablo. So the main normal stuff is going to be crit hit chance, crit hit damage, as well as the Hammer of the Ancients damage. Remember, even though we're doing Whirlwind doesn't deal the damage. So get extra bonus damage on Hammer of the Ancients. That's going to be on your boots as well as in your helmet. And then just look for elemental damage. That's going to be fire when you can. For our ring, we're running Band of the Might. Again, crit chance, crit damage. And then if you can, get like roll off like main stat. Eventually, once you get high enough in Paragon, that's totally fine. But nothing too special here. Convention of Elements is in every single build as well. Area damage is great if you can get it, because again, this build sucks up all the enemies into like one small little tight area. And then we got Witching Hour just for more crit hit damage. We've got the Stone Gauntlets. Again, crit chance, crit damage. Cooldown reduction is the priority stat here, because again, this will have a reverse effect if you don't have your cooldown reduction high enough. And then we're running Braces of the First Men, just more Hammer of the Ancients damage and attack speed. Then we've got Squirt's Necklace. This is going to give us extra damage, and if we're running the Whirlwind build where we suck everything up, we generally can kind of mitigate some of the downsides of this, because the enemies, they can't attack because they're just being sucked constantly, right? So that's great for that. Now, in terms of the gems, right now you guys can see I'm running the Gogok of Swiftness. If you don't meet the cooldown reductions, play with the Gogok of Swiftness earlier on. Later, you can swap it into a Bane of the Stricken if you're looking for the highest like push builds. But yeah, this could be an excellent choice for those players that are like, I really want to play this, I just don't meet the cooldown. Just run this. It really will help out. So in terms of the amulet, again, Squirt's Necklace here. Then we've got the Leoric's Crown. We're running a diamond in all of the pieces of gear just for extra survivability and cooldown reduction. Remember, crit hit chance as well as that Hammer of the Ancients damage here. Next up though, in terms of our shoulder piece, what we're looking for is the Fury of the Ancients. I already talked about it with the Call of the Ancients, getting the Ancients Fury rune, and the attack faster. It's just for resource, and it just keeps them up. And in terms of the legendary gems, we've got the Legacy of Dreams, because it is an LOD build. We've got the Bane of the Trap, which is kind of normal for any build, really. This is just one of the best gems in the entire game. And then, again, Gogok of Swiftness earlier on, but if you want to, you can run Bane of the Stricken if you're looking to push a little bit higher. But that pretty much covers up the build, guys. Super fun build. If you haven't played Diablo in a while and you're thinking about playing Barbarian, this build gets a double thumbs up. It's so much different than a lot of the other builds in the game, and the reason why it's so much different is because of the playstyle of just sucking up all the enemies and then just dealing massive amounts of damage. Or if you want to run the one where like the Hammer of the Ancients hits in all directions with the Sanctified power, that one is very fun as well. It's like very visually pleasing just to see everything just melt. However, as you get higher in the Geo department, it may not one-shot everything. Again, just kind of depends on how high you want to push. But if you're looking to like T16, it's going to just shred content. I mean, both of them will shred content in T16 anyways. It's a fantastic build. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new here and do want to see more Diablo and other action RPGs and more stuff in the future, subscribe to the bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and I'll link down below also the builds, just in case I was too fast with anything. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.